Chapter 1. Give a girl an education and introduce her properly into the world, and 10 to 1, but she has the means of settling well without further expense to anybody. Jane Austen, Mansfield Park. London, August 1816. She was running late. Abigail Chantry quickened her pace. Her half-day off, and though it was damp and squally and cold outside, she'd taken herself off as usual to continue her explorations of London. Truth to tell, if her employers had lived in the bleakest, most remote part of the Yorkshire moors, Abby would still have removed herself from their vicinity on her fortnightly half-day off. Mrs. Mason believed a governess should be useful as well as educational, and saw no reason why, on Miss Chantry's half-day, she should not do a little mending for her employer, or, better still, take the children with her on her outings. What need did a governess, especially one who was orphaned after all, have for free time? Miss Chantry did not agree, so, rain, hail, or snow, she absented herself from the Mason house the moment after the clock in the hall chimed noon, returning a few minutes before 6 to resume her duties. Having spent most of her life in the country, Abby was loving her forays into this enormous city, discovering all kinds of wonderful places. Last week, she'd found a bookshop where the owner let her read to her heart's content without pressuring her to buy. Only the second-hand books, of course, not the new ones whose pages had not yet been cut. She'd returned there today, and had become so lost in a story, The Monk, deliciously blood-curdling, that now she was running late. If she returned even 1 minute after 6, Mr. Mason would dock her wages by a full day. It had happened before, and no amount of argument would budge him. She turned the corner into the Masons' street, and glanced up at the nearby clock tower. Oh, Lord, 3 minutes to go. Abby picked up speed. "Abby Chantry?" A young woman, a maidservant by her garments, limped toward her with an uneven gait. She'd been waiting opposite the Masons' house. Abby eyed her warily. "Yes?" Apart from her employers, Abby knew no one in London, and nobody here called her Abby. "I got a message from your sister." She spoke with a rough London accent. Her mouth was swollen, and a large bruise darkened her cheek. My sister? It wasn't possible. Jane was hundreds of miles away. She'd just left the Pilbury Home for the Daughters of Distressed Gentlewomen near Cheltenham to take up a position as companion to a vicar's mother in Hereford. "She told me where to find you. I'm Daisy." The girl took Abby's arm and tugged. "You gotta come with me. Jane's in trouble, bad trouble, and you gotta come now." Abby hesitated. The girl's bruised and battered face didn't inspire confidence. The newspapers were full of the terrible crimes that took place in London: murders, white slavery, pickpockets and burglars. She'd even read about people hit over the head in a dark alley, stripped and left for dead just for their clothing. But Abby wore a dull grey homemade dress that practically shouted governess. She couldn't imagine anyone wanting to steal it, and she was thin, plain, and clever rather than pretty, which ruled out white slavers. She had no money or valuables, and, apart from the Mason family, she knew no one in London, so could hardly inspire murder. And this girl knew her name, and Jane's, and Abby's address. Abby glanced at the clock. 1 minute to 6. But what did the loss of a day's wages matter when her little sister was in London and in trouble? Jane was not yet 18. "All right, I'll come." She gave in to Daisy's tugging, and they hurried down the street. "Where is my sister?" "In a bad place," Daisy said cryptically, stumping rapidly along with an ungainly gait. Crippled, or the result of the beating she'd received? Abby wondered. Whichever, it didn't seem to slow her down. "What kind of bad place?" Daisy didn't respond. She led Abby through a maze of streets, cutting down back alleys and leading her into an area Abby had never felt tempted to explore. What